Good evening. My name is Tony Pagliocco and I'm running for National President of Omega Delta Phi. This is episode 17 of my video web series, and the reason why I cut these videos is because I like to be able to answer questions from brothers regarding my campaign platform, and I also like to be able to talk about challenges I feel that we're going to be facing as a fraternity in the near future. Sometimes I like to also talk about, just things that are going on top of my mind and things that relate to the campaign. And especially since this is a new process for maybe some of you, and some of you probably been through a lot of these before, it's a good conversation piece to be able to communicate and say what's on my mind and get that message out to the brothers, so to speak. So tonight is going to be a fairly short video, but I want to talk about the importance of making an informed decision when you vote for a new president. So recently I've been in conversation with a brother who's been very inquisitive and very presenting challenging questions in a sense, and I've actually absolutely loved the interaction I've had because this person seems to be similar to me, where they pull no punches, they're really straightforward, and they're asking a lot of direct questions, which I like because I'm able to give direct answers back and sort of relay what's going on in my mind and how I see my vision and the possible roadmap that could be developed with the new administration. So just in two brief conversations, his first question to me was, in 3 sentences, only share with me why you want to be president and why you should be president. And I only had 3 sentences to be able to answer it. Another question, he asked if I knew all of the current members of the National Executive Council. And when I paused for a second, he messaged and says, well, I guess you don't because you're probably looking it up right now. And I was like, no, really, I do know who they are. Then he also asked if I knew what all the positions were in the NEC. And then I asked if I had been on an NEC position before or a national level position. And, just going forth like that, like this conversation kept generating itself. And I was actually really excited to have this conversation because the questions were direct, they were straightforward, and this brother knew what he wanted to know. He knew what he wanted to ask. He knew what he wanted feedback on. And I could have sat there for another hour and a half just going back and forth with this brother. And it made me realize, and I said to him in our conversation, I said, I really wish other brothers were as detailed as you when doing their research. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to talk about that tonight, is that making an informed decision is one of the most important things you can do in casting your vote for president. And that's why I encourage you to talk to the other candidates. And I want you to ask them their position. I want you to ask them how they feel about certain things. A big part of my campaign is transparency. The accessibility that you have to me right now during the campaign, I want you to continue to have that same level of accessibility after the campaign. I don't want, in a lot of campaigns that you see people who are very open about wanting to talk to people and wanting to get opinions and feedback, and then once the election's over and they win, then it's almost impossible to get a hold of them. That's something that I really want to make sure that does not happen with this election. I want my level of accessibility to be very consistent as it was before the campaign, as it is now. If you text me and I give you an answer in 5 minutes, I want you to be able to get an answer in 5 minutes after the campaign. Because it's important that people know what's going on and people know what we're doing, which is why we really want to focus on, with this new administration, I would want to focus on more incremental delivery of what we're working on, so we're constantly showing the active brotherhood and the alumni that we're making progress towards something. We don't talk about doing something and then letting it stay dormant for 6, 7, 8, 9 months and then coming out of nowhere and being like, we're done. It's really important that as we're working on things that we're able to not only change what we're working on in terms of if the scope of the project changes or if hiccups come in that we didn't anticipate, but it's got to be fluid enough that we're always constantly showing forward progress, and that's a big part of it. So when I tell you to make an informed decision, I tell you to talk to the other candidates, I truly mean it. I mean, in my perfect world, you would just talk to me and you would go, wow, this guy's got it, and that's the game. But that's not the way real campaigns work. Everyone has to have a voice. And I've shown early on that my team and I, we have a strong voice because we've talked about what needs to be changed, and we talked about what's important, and we got feedback from other brothers asking them what they felt was important, and we take all of this together and put it into one package and try and present it as clear as possible. Now, I truly feel that with being able to get full opinions from people and get feedback on what they agree with and what they disagree with, not everyone's going to agree with what I say. Not everyone's going to feel that, whether it's about risk management or whether it's about graduate intake or expansion, you're never going to make everyone happy. That's just the way life is. But when I look at these things in the news right now, and I look at the incident with Sigma Alpha Epsilon, and now there's an incident with a fraternity at PSU, and right now fraternities have a target on their back. And so the question I sort of thought up is that if God forbid something were to happen to us and we got into that national limelight, who are you going to feel most comfortable being the public face of this organization and being able to mitigate and resolve a problem of that nature when push comes to shove? And I mean, it's important that when we're talking about this election and we're talking about the leadership of this fraternity, we need to make sure that we're going with what's best for the brotherhood and what's just not most popular or most visible. So I just wanted to stress that tonight because I felt it was important to talk about it, and I felt that it was important that everyone sort of takes. I would like everyone to take a note from this brother. Ask a lot of questions. Get the answers you want. Make your decisions based off of what you feel is going to be best for us for the future and not just for right now. So I said I was going to keep this short. Unfortunately, I didn't, but it's passion related. It's just because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video tonight. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if you want to set up time, if you want to book me for a meeting, you can contact me on Skype, email, you can text me. You can also go through my website, tonyp2015.com, and you can also get a whole plethora of information there, biographical, fraternal history, my campaign platform, the whole 9 yards. It's all there for you. So, once again, thank you. Have a great night, and may your decision be informed.